The following episode will contain spoilers. You have been warned.
You're listening to Cinema IRL, the podcast that throws you into the movie and asks the question, what would you do? If you missed part 1 of this episode, you should go back and listen to it. This is the second half of Amber and Scott discussing The Substance, changing the rules a little to make it more interesting. And now, Cinema IRL.
I wish I could switch places for just one day.
What would you do?
Put yourself in my shoes.
How do we handle this?
What would you do?
Put yourself in my position.
What would you do?
Now it's your turn.
I understand the way the movie was written, okay? No question about that. I'm altering the way the movie was written.
Why?
I'm altering the premise so that to make it reasonable to even consider
You're
the idea
rewriting
of
the film?
Yes.
Okay.
To even consider doing this experiment, I would have to share a brain.
Okay. Share away.
So would you, again, where Elizabeth is Sue and Sue is Elizabeth, and they are highly conscious of the effects on one or the other because it directly, truly affects
If they
them.
were legitimate teammates and both playing by the rules for the common good.
No, they're not teammates. They're the same person.
Okay, but I'm saying if they're both respectful of the other.
But
the
there is
other
no
version.
other. That's
Okay,
the point.
but
There's no
another,
other.
There's another body.
Yeah,
Yes,
there's
there
another
is.
body, but there's
Yes.
one brain.
Yes, if they're respectful of the other body, then yes.
Well, why wouldn't they?
But-
Because there's only one brain.
Okay.
They understand inherently that one thing they do to one body is going to fuck up the other body.
I wouldn't do it. I don't see the point.
Well,
I would do it thinking I was going to all of a sudden discover the fountain of youth and my skin was tighter and my butt was better and all of that good
but you
stuff that
get
comes
that
with
you
it.
get that 50% of the time.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. You asked me a question, there's my answer. I wouldn't with those parameters.
See, I don't know. I think for me, there's part of me that would consider doing that, but I feel like the harder thing would be to how do you justify for the rest of your life being gone a week at a time? Like a week on, a week off. Like the management of your life, unless you literally just put out there in the open, hey, I'm going to look old for a week, then I'm going to look young for a week. I'm going to look old for a week because I'm going to look young for a week. Because here's the thing. I think if Elizabeth goes to the producers of her show and says, I found this way so that you can get me, because you know my brain. I've done everything right to get to where I am. I've won an Academy Award. I've had a great career. You know I know how to do this. I found a way that for 50% of my life, I can have that firm ass, those great legs, the nice tits, everything that you want from, and still have my brain. I think the producers are jumping all over that because she knows what it takes. She knows everything that's required to be there. And now she has the body.
Okay, so what would you do is you just be transparent and tell them about this opportunity to have the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I think so. Because then, honestly, you could have Sue on filming weeks and Elizabeth on like rehearsal weeks.
Yeah.
Like Elizabeth's still
idea.
out there and helping and working with the show and building it on the off weeks. And then Sue with the body actually does the filming and all of that. I think if you're her and you can do that, it's a slam dunk.
Sure, okay.
For me as a normal person, I don't know. And this is where I think you really get into the concepts of female versus male. Because you're right. Being a female and aging is way harder on you. Society is way harder on women
the
aging.
number of young butts that were shown jumping and pulsating and thrusting throughout this film, I've never seen so many women's butts in my life.
Also, why were there dancers with their tits out on a network?
We don't know it was network.
It said it was network. They said it was network. A network New Year's show where all the dancers were just nude. That reminded me of the movie Scrooged. I don't know if you ever...
I haven't seen it since.
Yeah, whatever. There was
Forever.
like nips out in places that was completely inappropriate. And I had a flashback to that. But
Definitely got my fill of butts.
yeah.
Guys, you're probably going to like lots of butts in this film.
Yeah, I think if you're a guy, this isn't as big of a deal. Like it's just.
Oh God, no! You don't think about this. Like you guys don't. You pretty much throw in clothes and that's your day. Like I know from other entrepreneurs, and we talk about filming, and like sometimes a guy will give an assignment saying, "Oh, just do this," and the guy will just do the assignment, doing the filming, like the spontaneous assignment, and the women will be like, "Well, I have to do my hair, I have to do my makeup, I have to find my clothes," and they can't do the assignment because guys just live in a world where they can just someone can tell them to do something and they can film it right away, and women can't. Or if you do, then you either have to explain like, "Oh, sorry, I'm doing this all natural," or you have to somehow explain that you just look the way you look, and that's messed up.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, listen, I've said it many times. I would not change genders. There's no way. Y'all have to put up with way too much shit. I mean, we have a few things we have to put up with, but for every one we've got, you've got 10. So yeah, no, I wouldn't want to be a woman, and especially an aging woman. I think this is where it gets. I think you would find that more guys would say no to this, and more women would say yes to it because of how unfair society is to women as they get older.
Oh, it's terrible, and it permeates everything. From women wearing something and just feeling good in it to another woman saying, or sadly, it frequently is another woman and not even a guy, but saying, "Oh, she's too young to wear that." That's a thing. Or her hair is too young for her. Or she shouldn't be wearing that short skirt. She's too old for that. All of the layers of this is not only societal, but it's also women judging women. And it's terrible because sometimes you just want to feel good, and you do feel good until someone says or does something, or whatever, a commercial or society, or someone looking at someone or away from someone or commenting or something. It all just weighs on you.
The only way I can see this as being a slam dunk for both genders is whenever you hit the point in your life where, like, I know we discuss sometimes about how everything hurts, and people joke about, "Oh, the thing I miss most about my youth is my back not hurting," and stuff like that. But I mean, when you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever, it's a little bit of a joke. Maybe there's a little bit of an issue, but it's not really. But as you start to get really older, into like, say, your 70s and 80s, and you really kind of get to a point where there is stuff that truly hurts all the time, then regardless of gender, I could see doing it, if nothing else, to get a 1 week on, 1 week off relief from the pain. Like, I can live a life.
And the sad part is Elizabeth, she was still very beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
She had a setback in the fact of saying, "Hey, we're going to fire you from the show you've been on forever because you're too old and we want to get new blood," which is a hit. That is a hit that can take a woman down.
But it's interesting because I didn't ever feel like, it's weird, I never felt like she was bitter at that concept. I felt like she understood, like she truly understood, like, this is the way it works. I don't like it, but I'm not bitter because this guy wants to replace me, because that's what society says they want.
I would disagree with that. I wouldn't necessarily use the word bitter, but she was...
Well, she didn't like it. Who likes it? No one likes it.
Yeah, no, I think...
But she was understanding of it. She understood that society's a dick to women as they get older, and she wasn't like super angry at the producer guy because he wanted to replace her. He didn't like it, but she wasn't like, "You fucker, why would you get rid of me? I've been with you all this time. You're being disloyal." No. She was like, "Okay, let me find a way of still being pertinent and relevant."
I disagree with you, and again, maybe it's just a male-female thing. No, she didn't say, "You jerk, why you're replacing me," but she also just mostly sat there in silence while this was happening, and I think it was because just she was appalled and she was disgusted over this being the situation, that she was still doing a great job, that she had staying power that so many people don't, and that she was being unceremoniously kicked to the curb. And I don't see her not fighting back or saying he was a jerk as accepting and understanding. I see it as her just being disgusted by this producer and disgusted by the whole situation.
I mean, the producer was, I mean, even within the realm of societal stereotypes, the dude was a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Like he was, like, yeah, we get it. This is how society works. You don't have to shove it in people's faces. Like there's ways of doing things with a little, grace and dignity, which
Oh, he had none.
none.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I really was happy at the end when he just got blood soaked and got a little bit of a comeuppance with the show and everything. But I mean, it wasn't enough comeuppance.
Yeah. So for anyone who is not going to see this film but is just kind of curious, the end of the film has so much blood it makes the horror film Carrie look like a Dr. Seuss book.
Oh God,
So much blood.
I feel like in the last scene they used more blood than
Any movie,
any horror movie I've seen combined. I mean, it was gratuitous on top of gratuitous on top of gratuitous. It was a lot of blood.
Yeah.
Um,
The thing about Elizabeth, though, is I feel like it was a tale of someone, and I feel like a lot of films are this way, of someone who wants to find the fountain of youth, but it comes with a price. And I feel like this was just another variation of that, is someone who wanted all the good stuff that comes with youth and is willing to beg, borrow, steal, and sell their soul to get it. And I think a lot of us women can completely hear and feel that emotion of wanting to feel that way, but also wanting to be perceived that way. Because as a woman, I can tell you, when I'm sitting here, I am the same age I was when I was 20. But when I look at myself in the mirror, I realize I'm not. And that's really hard.
oh yeah, no, and I think for Elizabeth, it's significantly harder for her than it would be for most women because, I mean, she was out there for her looks, her body. She did fitness videos. That was her everything. And to all of a sudden have
she
her.
still looked great.
Oh, yeah. Even though she was still great, but for the perception of all of a sudden her everything to be nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just got to flip you. I can understand why she would do what she did with the Dirty Alley and Nearly Sight Unseen, because she was so desperate to try to reclaim something.
And it's such a juxtaposition for women. On one hand, you're told to fight aging with all of the ads in the magazines. Get color your hair, get wrinkle cream, get Botox, get all this stuff to keep your youth. And on the other hand, you're also told to age gracefully and just to accept it and, wear the longer skirt or the higher neck or, let your hair turn color or whatnot. So we are given so many conflicting messages as a society, and doesn't matter where you land, there's someone judging you for whatever that decision. And sadly, as I referenced earlier, a lot of times it's women being hard on other women, which is just tragic.
Yeah. No, I mean, society is not, it's super not fair to y'all. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. I understand the appeal. I understand the appeal, especially as a woman. And like I said, for anyone who, if they eventually get in pain, that they basically
And Elizabeth was not.
No, she wasn't. She was desperately trying to.
She just took a career hit.
Well, yeah, I mean, she took a massive career hit. But see, and that's the silly thing too. She probably still could have done stuff. Like, she is a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame. If you have a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame, unless you've gone off and done something horrible, you can probably still find a way of finding work.
Yeah.
Of some form or fashion. Maybe it's not exactly what you want to do, but it's what you could do. So.
And I guess my last thought is, from a what would you do perspective, I think I would do what most women would do, is with given the opportunity to be a younger, better version of yourself. I think a lot of women, I would say the majority, I don't know what percentage, but I would say more than 50% of women would take that chance.
Yeah, I
some are okay and very secure in how they are and aren't influenced by society and are very comfortable in their skin. And boy, so much love and power to you. But a lot of women want to feel that youth and be perceived that way and wear that dress without having to wear Spanx, or to have that level of confidence that just takes a hit as you get older and older and older.
I agree. I think the men and women who do it would, on average, be doing it for different reasons.
Oh yeah,
for sure. So, all right. Well, I believe we've covered everyone on this one. So
yeah. This was a juicy episode, and if you haven't seen The Substance, check it out. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it really
We hope you
needs
enjoyed
to be
our
seen to
episode.
be
Thank you
truly
for
understood.
listening. And to catch all the new episodes, please subscribe. We release 2 to 3 episodes weekly, so we'll have new content regularly. Until next time.